So this is rotations on the plane, and I'm on page 21. I'm not going to read through this. I think it's confusing, but we're going to turn to page 29, and we're going to have this shape right here. So you need patty paper. The first thing that you need to do on this patty paper is I would definitely get a new one. I'm using part of an old one, but I would definitely get a new patty paper. You want to try to have this as much in the center as possible. All three of those points need to be visible on your paper. And let me grab a pencil. All right, so I'm going to mark my points, A, B, C, D. If you need a ruler to mark these, go ahead and get a ruler. So we're going to label them A, B, C, D. I also am going to mark the points on the back just so that I already have it and I don't have to worry about that in a minute. So I flip the paper over, I mark the points on the back with my pencil. That way when we're doing all of the transformations, they're easy to transfer just like I accidentally did there. Okay. So what we are going to do first is we are going to do a 90-degree rotation clockwise. So the first thing I want to do is I want to write the definition for clockwise. So I'm going to use purple. Oh no, I just used purple. Let's use green. So we're going to do 90 degrees. Then we're going to do clockwise, and we're going to write that down. We're going to do 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then we're going to do 180 degrees. So if you want to write that over there too, you can. But let's talk about what this means. So if I'm going to do clockwise, that's thinking about or writing, thinking about a clock. So if I have 12, 3, 6, 9, like think about the hands on a clock. Okay, if I am moving from 12 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, so if I am going this direction, that is clockwise. If I'm going this direction, you're going against the clock, so it is counterclockwise. So counterclockwise. Okay, so this is clockwise, this is counterclockwise. So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So that's important. That's almost where most mistakes happen when we're doing these rotations, is you forget which direction. I also want to remind you of what a 90-degree angle looks like. So a 90-degree angle is a right angle. So this is 90 degrees, and that is a right angle. Okay, so what you're going to notice is, in a minute, we're going to draw some lines, and you're going to take whatever line is this direction, and you're going to rotate it to either this way, 90 degrees, if you're going clockwise, or you would go this direction if you're going counterclockwise. So it's like going from the 12 o'clock to the 3 o'clock, or from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock if you're going counterclockwise. All right, so this is our original. I want to actually do the point that's right here first. So it says 03. We're going to do that one first, and the reason I do that is because this one cuts through the middle, and so I don't want to mess this up. So here we go. You need a ruler or like the straight edge of a piece of paper or something. So we're going to draw a straight up and down line through that point right there. Okay, and then we're going to do the other point as well. Okay, so we are going to do 90 degrees clockwise. So 0.03, we're going to do 90 degrees clockwise. So if we think about this as 12 o'clock, you're going to put your pen on that point, and we're going to rotate it. So we're going to spin. Do you see how it's spinning? So you can either, and we're going clockwise. So if we're going to make the 12, or the part that's pointing up, move to 3 o'clock because we're going around a clock like a clockwise. So there is 90 degrees clockwise. So do you see where I marked those lines and it kind of bled through? That is our new point. So you're going to push down on point A, point B, point C, and point D, and that should transfer. That's why we marked the points like we did. So I'm going to mark those. And then we have point A, point B, and that's A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. And yes, I know, I'm pretty good at drawing straight lines. That's just the way it works. So that rotated 90 degrees clockwise. Okay, so that's the first one. Cut out. Or I paused it because I needed to go look at something. So this one, we went from here to there, and we went 90 degrees clockwise. So that's what we did. We're not going to actually use this point over here. I want to do them all on the same one, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a bunch of lines everywhere. So now we're going to go from this point, and so we're going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise. So watch what we do here. So I'm going to put my pin on that point, and instead of making this up arrow point to 3, we're going to move backwards, and it's going to point to 9. So from 12 to straight across, which is the 9 o'clock position. So that is our new, and make sure, try to get these lines to line up as best as you can. And then we're going to mark our points again. So this is our new A, D, C, B. So I'm going to flip this out of the way. So that's our A double prime, because it's the second one. This is our B. And I'm just going to set it aside so we can see the way that it is. Then it's D on the bottom, D double prime, and C double prime. Okay, so that's our A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, and D double prime. So this one, when we go this direction, it is counterclockwise. So that's 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write a few definitions just so that we have them, and then we'll go and do the last one that's 180 degrees. So the first definition that we're going to write is rotation. So rotation, and I'm sorry, I realized now. So rotation is the same thing as our spin that we've been doing. I kind of started the video assuming that you knew what rotation is. So my bad. So when we rotate, we're spinning. We're spinning that object by whatever degree it tells us. So we're going to say rotation. And rotation is a rigid transformation that turns or spins a figure. Okay, so that's a rotation. The center of rotation hopefully that blue shows up. It's kind of hard to see, but is the point used to spin the figure sometimes we will use the origin in the coordinate plane. So if you think about the two lines that we drew through, those also look like the x and y axis. So this point right here is called the origin. So sometimes that point is actually in the coordinate system and is the origin. Okay? The other thing that I want you to write down is the angle of rotation. So these are all the things that we've talked about in this video so far, and it's the angle measure used to tell you how much to spin. I'm going to write rotate. And which direction. Which direction. So if we look at the problems that we just did, this was the point that we rotated about, so that's the center of rotation. The angle at which we rotated was 90 degrees, and then this direction, so 90 degrees clockwise. This one was 90 degrees counterclockwise, so it told you which direction to move. Okay. Now we're going to do the last one. The last one is 180 degrees. Let me use red for this one. So 180 degrees. So if we're going to rotate 180 degrees, let's think about how much. So this is 90. So that's 90. Well, what is 90 plus 90? 90 plus 90 equals 180. So you actually have to go twice. So instead of your up arrow pointing straight up, it's going to move to the 3, and then it's going to move one more time to the 180 degrees. Now, I want to show you something, and I totally just wrote where I needed to be, but we'll still draw it. So those are my 4 points. I just marked them. So we went clockwise. I want to show you something. Let's go back to the original. So if I go back to the original, we went clockwise. Let's go counterclockwise. So let's follow the 12, 9, and go this way. So the 12 is pointing straight up. Now it's pointing at the 9, so that's 90-degree rotation. And then now it's pointing straight down. And notice those points are in the same way, or in the same spot. So the 12 went from pointing straight up to straight down. So now it's in the 6 o'clock position if you want to talk about it like a clock. So does it really matter? If it's halfway around the circle, does it matter which way it goes? No, it doesn't. So that's the weird one. And I'm going to, let's transfer these points. So A is this point over here. So that's A triple prime. B is this one. C is this one, and D is this one. So there's our trapezoid. So this one was 180 degrees, 180 degrees from the pre-image. So I'm going to write that down. So 180 degrees is half of a circle. Does not matter which direction you turn. Okay, if you do a 180 kickflip, if that's still what you call them, it's where it only spins halfway around. 360 is a full circle. So that was me trying to be cool, and I don't know if I even said it right. But so 180 is half a circle, so it doesn't matter which direction. So that is what we are doing to rotate. So you can see we went 90 degrees clockwise, we moved this way. This one we went counterclockwise, and this one we went halfway around. Let me know if you need help.